Where are my dogs? Emma's phone buzzed with a call from her mother-in-law, Patricia. Her voice was smug. Those useless dogs are gone. I did you a favor. Now you can get proper ones from a breeder. Emma's heart pounded as she gripped her desk at the vet clinic. What did you do with them? I took them to a shelter while you were at work. Honestly, having rescue dogs is embarrassing. What will people think? Max, Luna, and Bear weren't just pets. They were family. Max, a German Shepherd mix, had been left tied to a pole in the rain. Luna, a pit bull with one eye, had been rescued from a dogfighting ring. Bear, an old Golden Retriever mix, had been abandoned after his owner passed away. Which shelter? Emma asked, already opening her laptop. Patricia laughed, not telling. You'll just bring them back. What Patricia didn't know was that Emma had put GPS trackers in the dogs' collars after she accidentally left the gate open last month. She checked the app. The dogs weren't at any shelter. They were scattered in different locations. Her coworker Sarah walked in. You okay? Patricia gave away my dogs. Emma pointed at the screen. But look where they are. Sarah frowned. That's the old factory district and a highway rest stop. What is she up to? Emma grabbed her keys and texted her husband, David. Your mom took the dogs. Tracking them now. Meet me ASAP. David replied instantly, Wait too. She's gone too far. Patricia had moved in 6 months ago after her divorce. Since then, she had tried everything to get rid of the dogs. Leaving doors open, dropping chocolate on the floor by accident, and nonstop complaining. David arrived, furious. Where are they? Emma pointed at the map. Not shelters. What if she gave them to people who might hurt them? David pulled her into a hug. We'll find them. And Mom is moving out. They split up. David went to the rest stop, Sarah to the railway station, and Emma to the factory. At the warehouse, a rough-looking man stood outside, smoking. He eyed Emma. You lost? My dog is here. Black pit bull, one eye, she said firmly, showing him a photo. She has a tracker, and I already told the police. His face changed. I don't want trouble. Some lady paid me to keep her here for a few days, to teach someone a lesson. She's inside. Emma rushed in. Luna wagged her tail frantically, tied to a pipe. As she freed her, a message from David popped up. Got Bear. Locked in someone's garage. Mom paid them $200 to keep him. Then Sarah texted, found Max. Some teen was walking him all day. Now I told him it was for a surprise party. Emma's hands shook with anger. Patricia hadn't just dumped the dogs, she had hidden them on purpose. Another text from David. Taking Bear home. We need to talk about Mom. This ends today. Emma agreed. Patricia had finally crossed the line. She wanted control, wanted to prove she could take away what mattered most, but she had made one big mistake. She underestimated just how far Emma would go to protect her family, human and canine alike. Taking a stand. When I pulled into the driveway with Luna, Patricia stood on the porch, arms crossed. Her smug expression disappeared when she saw the dog. How did you? She started, then quickly recovered. Emma, you're making this harder than it needs to be. Those dogs are beneath our family status. I stared at her. Our family status? You mean the status you lost in your divorce? The one that forced you to move in with me, the daughter-in-law you hate. Her face turned red. How dare you? I was trying to help. David deserves better than living with these strays. A car pulled up behind me. David stepped out with Bear. His voice was sharp. You mean the dogs that helped me through my depression? The ones that make Emma happy? Those strays, Mother. Patricia hesitated. Darling, you don't understand. I had a surprise planned. My friend's poodles just had puppies. Save it, David cut her off. We found all 3 dogs. We know you paid people to hide them. What were you planning to tell us when we couldn't find them? Patricia's confidence wavered. She hadn't expected us to track them so quickly. Sarah arrived next, bringing Max. Our dogs, finally reunited, wagged their tails as Patricia stood stiffly on the porch. This is ridiculous, she snapped. I was just trying to make you see reason. The people I paid were only supposed to keep them for a week. A week? I stepped forward. You gave our dogs to strangers for a week. Do you know how dangerous that was? Nothing would have happened, she insisted. I was careful. The man at the factory owed me a favor, And the woman with the garage is a friend from church. The factory? David's voice went cold. You left one of our dogs at a factory. Patricia stammered. I had to make sure you couldn't find them too soon. By the time they came back, the poodles would be ready. You mean by the time we thought they were gone for good? I said. You paid strangers to hide our dogs, hoping we'd move on. Patricia flinched. When you say it like that, it sounds terrible. David laughed bitterly. You mean the trust fund you lost? The country club membership you can't afford anymore. That's status. Patricia's face crumpled. You don't understand. I needed control, I finished. Since you can't control your own life, you tried to control ours. The dogs huddled close, sensing the tension. Luna pressed against me, while Max and Bear stood beside David. David's voice was firm. You're leaving. Today, pack your things. But where will I go? Patricia's voice rose. You can't throw me out, I'm your mother. You're the woman who stole and hid our dogs, I said. We have GPS proof of where you took them. We have witnesses who confirm you paid them. Do you want us to call the police? Her face went pale. You wouldn't dare. Try us, David said. You have 3 hours to pack. After that, we're changing the locks. Patricia stormed inside, slamming doors as she packed. I knelt to hug our dogs, the relief hitting me all at once. David sat beside me on the grass, wrapping his arms around us. I'm so sorry, he whispered. I knew she was difficult, but I never thought she'd go this far. The GPS saved us, I said, stroking Max's fur. I never thought we'd need it, to protect them from her. Sarah crossed her arms. You know this isn't over, right? She won't just leave quietly. I watched Patricia's shadow move past the upstairs windows. I know, but this time, we have proof. She can't talk her way out of this. The next few hours were tense as Patricia packed, making sure to slam every door. But as I sat with my dogs, I felt stronger. This wasn't the end. Women like Patricia didn't give up easily. But today, we stood up to her. And sometimes the family you choose, especially the ones with fur and wagging tails, is more loyal than the one you're born into. 3 months after Patricia's dramatic exit, life had settled into a peaceful rhythm. The dogs were thriving, no longer walking on eggshells in their own home. David had installed security cameras around the property, a necessary precaution given his mother's tendency for dramatic gestures. We'd heard through family that Patricia had moved in with her sister in Colorado, telling anyone who would listen how her son and daughter-in-law had cruelly thrown her out. But the GPS data and witness statements told a different story, one that kept her from attempting any legal action against us. One quiet Sunday morning, as I sat on our porch watching the dogs play in the yard, a familiar car pulled into our driveway. My heart skipped a beat when Patricia stepped out, looking thinner and more subdued than I remembered. The dogs noticed her immediately. Luna and Max moved to stand guard on either side of me, while Bear watched cautiously from the yard. Their protective instincts never failed to amaze me. Emma, Patricia said softly, stopping at the bottom of the porch steps, may I speak with you? I noticed she wasn't trying to come closer, respecting the boundary the dogs had created. David's not home, I replied. I know. I came to talk to you, actually. She clutched her purse tightly. And to apologize. Those weren't words I ever expected to hear from Patricia. I studied her face, looking for signs of manipulation. The one. My therapist. She paused, seeming embarrassed. After everything happened, my sister insisted I get help. The therapist helped me see some things about myself. About why I did what I did. The dogs remained alert but calm. They'd always been good judges of character, and right now, they weren't showing signs of distress. It wasn't about the dogs, was it? I asked, though I already knew the answer. Patricia shook her head. No, it was about control. After the divorce, losing my status, my friends, I felt powerless. Taking control of your lives, your home, even your pets. It was my way of feeling powerful again. She wiped a tear. It was wrong. All of it. I remained silent, letting her continue. Seeing how far you went to protect them, she gestured to the dogs. It made me realize something. You didn't just save these dogs once when you rescued them. You keep choosing them, keep protecting them, every day. That kind of loyalty, it's what I should have shown to my own family. Luna had relaxed slightly, her tail giving a tentative wag. Even she could sense the shift in Patricia's energy. I've been volunteering at a shelter in Colorado, Patricia continued, trying to understand. To make amends, I suppose. Last week, I helped reunite a lost dog with its family. Seeing their joy, I finally understood what I tried to take from you. I stood up, walking down the porch steps. The dogs moved with me, a furry honor guard. Why are you really here, Patricia? To say I'm sorry. To ask if there's any way to start rebuilding what I destroyed. Not just with the dogs, but with you and David. I've lost so much already. I don't want to lose my son too. Looking at her now, I saw something I'd never seen before. Genuine humility. The perfectly coiffed, controlling woman who would try to orchestrate our lives was gone, replaced by someone who seemed to finally understand the damage she caused. It won't be easy, I said finally. Trust, once broken, takes time to rebuild. But if you're serious about making amends, about respecting our boundaries and our choices. I am, she interjected quickly. I know I don't deserve another chance, but I'd like to try. Maybe we could start with short visits. Supervised, of course. I'd like to properly meet the dogs, learn their stories. Bear, always the most forgiving of our trio, had wandered closer to Patricia. She remained still, letting him approach on his own terms. We'll talk to David, I said, but no more schemes, no more manipulation. One wrong move, and that's it. Patricia nodded, watching as Bear gently sniffed her hand. Thank you, Emma, for giving me a chance to make things right. As I watched my former adversary cautiously pet our senior rescue dog, I realized that sometimes the path to healing comes from unexpected places. Patricia had tried to tear our family apart, but ended up learning what made it strong. Unconditional love, unwavering loyalty, and the courage to protect what matters most. Our dogs had taught us all valuable lessons about forgiveness, boundaries, and the true meaning of family. They were never just dogs. They were the heart of our home, the catalyst for necessary change, and living proof that second chances, when earned, could lead to beautiful beginnings. The GPS trackers remained, though. Some precautions were worth keeping, even in times of peace.